Hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. Today we are just getting ready for the second round of SRL's WC Championship. Welcome. We're on the Mon Ultimate and we're hopefully looking for a good clean race after the difficulties that we had at Imola. Yeah, looking forward to this. We're at Spa. We've got a little bit of an extended grid. I think we have 48 or 49 people. Let me just quickly scroll down and see. 48, yes. 23 GT3s, 25 hypercars. A little bit of an expanded grid upon since last week's Imola. But yeah, should be interesting. We've got a 10-minute qualifying session just about to come up. It's just starting now. And then... we are going to have a 90-minute race, just like at Imola. This time there is a chance for some rain. It's only a drizzle, so it is. It's a 30% chance at the start of the race, then 20% throughout the rest of the race. So we could see some rain. We might not see some rain. Yeah, it could go any way, so it could. Make our way to the info. As we have a little bit of an expanded grid, there is... we are running the endurance layout. To fit everyone in. Ambient temperature is very cold. Well, pretty cold, 14 degrees. But track temps, quite warm actually at the moment, 30 degrees, that's not too bad. But we are going to need a bit of time just to get the tires up to temperature because of the endurance pits and getting tires up to temperature. We're only going to have time for 5 laps in this qualifying session, hence why we've taken the soft tires. I don't think there would be enough time to get a set of mediums up to temperature. So, yep, softs will do. Feeling quite good around Spa here, in the dry that is. When it comes to the wet, well, it becomes a very difficult track in the hypercars. It's going to be all about survival. Yeah, personally I'm hoping it doesn't rain. But, yeah, if it does, we'll just have to do our best and try and survive. Play it safe. So finishing up our right lap here, the tire's still quite cool. So this first flying lap will not be a competitive lap. Really, can still take it a little bit easy, not wear out the tires too much. But of course, we still want to get more temperature into the tires. Tires are starting to come in, starting to feel good. So next lap should sort of be the first lap towards competitive times, but I think we'll still find a little bit of time in the latter laps. So let's open up the final corner. Try and carry as much speed as we can towards turn 1. Braking just before the 100 board, try and get the car turned in, get on the par as soon as you can. Use a little bit of the curb on the exit as we fire ourselves down to our Rouge and Radeon in the hypercars. You have enough downforce, you can take it flat out with a little margin to spur on the apex curb of Radeon. And you want to carry as much speed then up the hill as we make the climb to Lacon. Braking once again just before the 100-meter board. Swing the car in. Use a bit of the curb on the left. Don't use too much. Don't bottom out the plank on the inside. And then take a bit of curb on the right-hand side. That's maybe a little too much to let again on the par as we now head to the downhill long right-hand hairpin. Car understeers a bit, but pick up the throttle halfway through. Fire yourself towards No Name. Turn in earlier than you expect. The car wants to understeer through there. Very easy to run wide and miss the apex. Don't run too wide though, you'll get into the gravel. Then put on down 1 gear, carry the speed into the corner, pick up the throttle as soon as you dare. Accelerate your way then towards the Piff Paff chicane, braking just before, a little bit before the curb on the left. Down to 3rd gear, carry the speed in, load up the front left. And then do the same again for the front right as you head through the left-hander. Braking just after that sign on the left. For Stavilo 1, pick up throttle, use all the curb on the exit, bring yourself in and turn it off the outside curb. Easy flat through the second part if you get the line right. Now on the run up to Blanchimont, easy flat out of course in these hypercars and these conditions. Then it's all about spotting your braking point for the bus stop chicane just after that first Michelin board. On the left, get the car turned in for the first apex. Keep a little bit of line to open up the final corner. Allow you to straighten it up a little bit. Put the throttle down, get better traction. And that is our first lap at 1.5. Braking on the limit into the source that time. Did see a 2-minute 0.9 in the practice session from our teammate in the fellow Genesis. So I would expect them to do well, but they were in the pits after the first lap, so I think they're a little bit delayed. We're 10th up as we start our second competitive lap. Two tenths, 2.5. As we now come down towards the hairpin. Lost a little bit of time through the Piff Paff chicane. So we're just 2 tenths up. Yeah, they're like 2 minute 0.7. I'm not going to beat that. Just the bus stop chicane here to go then. Ooh, actually lost a bit of time through there, surprisingly. A little bit deeper into the source as we start our final flying lap. Tires are a good temperature now. Might be overheating a little bit when we get to the end of this lap. Bailey's pipped us for P2 by a couple of tenths. A little bit wide for the apex there. Apex in there somewhere. Oh, bumped the car out on the curb. That cost us some momentum. I don't think this lap's going to be it. We're a few tenths down. To left to make sure I didn't run wide through Stavlo too. Yeah, I think the tires are just gone. Whirring slightly and just overheating a little bit. No, they're not optimal grip. Should've just done a 4-lap stint. We've saved us a little bit of fuel. But yeah, we put a little 2% too much in anyway. So yeah, we could have saved about like 5 liters, which is like 4 kilos of fuel. Yeah, we had a couple of tenths in it that we give up on the... on that penultimate lap, unfortunately. We were well, a quarter of a second up, and then it sort of dropped down to, well, about half a tenth. So yeah, 2 tenths there. Maybe even 3 if we started looking at more individual corners. It's very close behind us. I mean, that is a tenth that separates 4th to P7 behind us. Okay, we're about 4 tenths ahead of that little group. But yeah, 4 different manufacturers in the top 5. The Genesis, us and Genesis being the only sort of pairing within the group. So yeah, there is the end. Oh. Decisions. One thing we can say for sure, max VE. It is drizzling. 9% rain. There's a lot of split-in strategies here. It's a tough decision. Is the ring going to get heavier or is it going to get lighter? That's the question. More and more people looking towards wet tires. I must admit, I am thinking wet tires. The track is already damp. Slicks. Probably, like, if they were up to temperature, we'd probably be the better tire at that stage. But they'll not be up to temperature, and I don't think they'll be the better tire for too long.
Formation lab has started.
People are going to want to take care of the wet tire at the start, while the track is still on the drier side. Ooh, it is a little bit scary having the rain judging the grip. So many cars around us. 2 Peugeots on the road behind us. Those Peugeots were quick at at Imola, sorry. Not doing any brake dragging. Just to see a VE on one part, but also we don't need the temperature in the wet tires. And actually want to keep them cool while we're in these conditions. Ready for the start then.
Green flag, green flag.
Clean start, wasn't the greatest of runs, maybe a little too cautious into the source. Well, I was not confident up through the top of Radion. Wow, runs off track to overtake me and then doesn't leave me any space after they rejoin. Move the brake bias rearward slightly. Yeah, track's slightly wet already. So definitely the right decision. Maybe a little cautious on the brakes there. Did lift a bit to save some VE. Oh, Alpine behind spun. Bailey's attacking Mo in the other Genesis. Maybe I was too cautious there. Bailey's got to run. And he's got to the lead of the race. Yellow flag behind. Just try and save energy at this stage of the race. Because while everyone's sort of feeling out the conditions and they're constantly evolving, I feel like, you know, we can save a good bit of energy and not lose too much pace. Especially as these front two are fighting. Oh, look at that wiggle from Bailey. Lack of traction there, and that allows Mo back into the lead. Despite setting, you know, the fuel saving, we set the fastest lap of the race last time. But really, the front two lost themselves time by fighting. Oh, Rouge Radion is so scary in the wet. Mo had a big wiggle into the hairpin here. Track's still getting wetter, can feel it. And Mo is finding that out for himself as he runs wide for a second corner row. That allows Bailey back into the lead, but Bailey's gone deep into Puon. Mo's got the cut back. Side by side into Piff Path. Mo runs it in too deep on the outside. As Gaff can see that one. Getting little bits of frame drops. Bailey's outbraked himself. Is having to cut the chicane. Oh, Mo took a really weird line there and he's got worried of running into the back of him. And with Bailey having to give up time with overshooting the chicane. It's Mo back pass, but they're side by side towards Rouge and Radion. Bailey is the one that gives up position. This is a fun fight to watch. Mo's gone in deep, really bad line through the chicane. Bailey has run towards the hairpin here. Mo sends it in deep on the brakes, trying to hold it round the outside. It's maybe a little too deep with the inside. Bailey has the place back. We're running a bit wide there. Whoa. I was lifting there and I thought I braked at a good point, but I was just going to run into the back of Mo. And there's nothing I could do. Oh, I've got suspension damage from that. Oh, that's annoying. Damage doesn't feel that bad. Battery's nearly full. Oh, of course. The GT3s. That GT3 had a big wiggle there. I was really worried it was going to collect me. Well, after that little tangle at the chicane with... It's Bailey, the one we hit and got the damage off. He's pulled a lead now. He's got a 2-second lead. Ooh, contact. That got very sketchy between the cars in front. And we kind of just drived on saying like, oh crap, where's the space gonna be? Yeah, we're right in the middle of the GT3 pack now. Oh, that looks like... Oh, that's one car coming out of pit lane. I have to get on the brakes on a straight because I've nowhere to go. Oh, that's fun. Oh. That wasn't fun. Rear's just locked up. That's cost us 2 more places. Track's still only slightly wet. So fun fact, the car started sliding there in the braking zone as we made that move out down the inside of Clark. That got me concerned. Clark, good sport, left us plenty of space. I can go chasing after the Aston Martin in front. that Mustang just kind of in all the wrong places for me. Bailey's now pulled a 5-second lead. I think we handled that GT3 pretty well through Arouge Radeon. Oh, the rear tires slid a little bit there. I think this track is starting to get a little bit drier again. Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a dry line forming. Yeah, track's definitely improving. $16.5 from the Alpine. I think that's the fastest. Yeah, that was the fastest lap out of anyone last lap. Mo and the other Genesis has dropped to P3 now. And he's dropped a second off the Peugeot that's taken P2. As things stand, I don't think the track will get dry enough for slicks. It all depends if the weather gets a bit worse or a bit better. Little bug in the wheel there. So there was. Some people are starting to find good pace at the moment with the drying track. Not quite finding that pace myself. Don't know if that's because of the sort of 2 little spins had on the tyres. I mean, they've just lost that potential. That BMW, I hate that BMW. They brake checked us at Imola, and now they've just cost us more time there because they can't stick to a racing line. This is point where like a race engineer would be pretty useful. Like, why am I losing the time? Yeah, where are the cars in front of me going quicker? Because they're not just going slightly quicker, they're going like a second and a half quicker in some cases. I am not that much slower than them. Thank you, Lexus. Don't know if they were sort of going for a wider entry to cut back for a later apex. They might have been, but the space was there. We'll take it. One advantage we do have is do have a bit more VE than everyone. We have been saving. The rain has stopped now. No sets, no fastest lap of the race. Let's find some pace that lap. Not sure what that Ferrari was doing on the straight. Maybe trying to keep their tires cool, potentially. Like using the wet part of the track to do that. Side by side. Between Lexus and GT3 here. Question is soft or medium tires? The track is damp, so theoretically, the track is ready for slick tires. Ooh, car in front's gone in. Thing is, can you make it to the end from here? It's like very tight on if you can go to the end from here. I think that's a big question. When do you think you can make it to the end? Oh! Never mind. Of that Aston went on to slick tires. They are gonna be horrified at what they're seeing now. We take fastest lap of the race. Oh, that's a Toyota that's just coming out of the pits. But it's not a heavy drizzle, so it's not. Has a bad moment to catch GT3. Bailey by a 9-second lead now. Something's happened at the chicane here. Both of the hypercars in front of us went off. Okay, just turn in on me. Stupid GT3. mean, yeah, I'll admit that wasn't a great place to position my car. But that doesn't excuse that complete lack of awareness. Mo is really struggling. I wonder if he has damage. Track is only still damp. The drizzle is very light. That dive bomb was so on edge. Like on the wet part of the track throughout race, you have to stay on that dry line. Nearly started to slide the rear tires there, nearly overwhelmed them. Well, it was overwhelming them. I just had to correct the car, straighten it up, get the rear tires under control again. Lap times are still getting quicker, so track is drying out still. But it is still lethal. I've also done a really bad job of managing my battery this race. There it was, nearly full again. Lost a lot of time with that GT3. Mo has got the other Genesis back up to P2. Turned into the other. On the wet part of the track. I think the drizzle is starting to get a little bit heavier again. So I do. can see there isn't much of a dry line at the apex of the source. You know, the car's going slow, the downforce isn't really working to dry the track up at the low speeds. Look how much more speed we carried up through there. Not having a GT3 in our way and not getting on the wet part of the track. Purple middle sector. I think I could have just rolled a bit more speed through the first apex of the bus stop there. Fight for P2's back on. That's quite a bad time there, but just the way things are. Yellow flag. I'm going to respect the yellow flag. As the Peugeot involved in that incident. Just with an incident like that, you never know where the cars are going to go, you know, what other cars are involved. You know, I didn't see the Peugeot very late in that incident, and the Corvette, as we've seen, came back towards the track. You know, so just best to be safe in that moment. Rear started sliding ever so slightly there. Rim seems to be getting a little bit heavier again. I mean, what lap? 4 more laps. So end of lap 27. That could be 13 laps to go. Billy has ran away with this race. If you wanted to be risky, you could put a soft tire on. You know, the cooler conditions with the rain, the track being a bit damp with the rain. You know, the medium tire isn't going to work out for sure. The soft tire might. Mo seems to be struggling for pace at the moment. Also, being the hypercar class, you know, we have to go offline to pass the GT3 cars. So we're never, we're going to be going onto the wet parts of the track. We have to. That would make it, that makes the slick much more difficult. So it does. Oh, Mo's nearly binned it. I wish that McLaren just stayed a little harder to one side or the other. Mo's going to be in at the end of this lap anyway. Let's see, how much energy does Bailey put in? He goes 60%. Mo's gone 62%. Apex. I have to go safe. No change. %. Yeah. That will do. Whew, that's nearly a big mistake. I think we'll come out in P2. How much of a gap we have is a different question. But yeah, we can technically go flat out to the end. So Bailey is passing us 9. There he goes. Has he taken new tires then? I think people have taken new tires. Yeah, people have taken new tires. Well, this is going to be interesting. Do not want to deploy at 50. I think Mo will catch us. So he will. Just because he's quick. In general. Never mind. With much fresher tires. Yeah, those two GT3s just put me off, and also with the fact I'm not lifting and coasting, yeah, it's like I didn't know where my braking point was. Why was that McLaren staying in the middle of the road? That's annoying. And there's just 2 more seconds gone. That's possibly 3rd place. Maybe even worse, thrown away. Rain's coming down heavier now, I think. Love when the roads just want to go and turn in. Yeah, rain's definitely got heavier. You can see the spots on the windscreen are just a bit more intense. I should have risked it on the fuel. That Alpine's pace is concerning. Maybe new tires was the way. I mean, I'd be fine if I didn't make that mistake with the GT3s, but... Can't do anything about that now, nor the tires. There is Mo already. I'm not gonna fight him. No point. I want to have the quickest race that I can between now and the checkered flag. I don't want to lose time fighting someone that's multiple seconds lap quicker than me with brand new tires as of 4 laps ago. I'll probably lift in lap 3 into the bus stop. Oh, did he get an off-track overtake? He might have. I will try again. Just about got there in time. yeah, what, 2 extra laps of fuel. Even if I took 4% out, we'd have a lap extra. I should have went 52. That would have saved us like a second in the pit stop. And then with that, you know, it seems like so little. But, you know, then we catch the GT3s in a different spot, and we maybe don't lose 10 seconds behind them. Oh, the Alpine had an issue. They've lost 5 seconds because they were just onto the back of the Peugeot. Now they're 5 seconds back. Peugeot is slowly but surely chasing us down as well. Very similar time between us and the Peugeot last lap. Yeah, the Alpine there, you can see the time that they lost. Thank you, Mercedes. BMW, please. Racing line goes to the apex, to the exit curb. Nah, I'm not going to dive bomb that. Consider dry tires. Considering there isn't a dry line in the slow speed corners, it's still raining, and there's only 11 minutes left in the race. Consideration is no. I mean, you think we were down to 211s earlier in the race, and that's when the point we were considering dry tires earlier in the race. We're currently at 218s. Dry tires would be a death sentence at the moment. Alpine onto the back of the Peugeot again. Now that time has ticked down a bit, I don't think the Alpine is going to have the time to catch us once they pass the Peugeot. Got least time here with McLaren through erosion ready on. Okay, this is going to be close with the Alpine, so it is actually. I think they might be able to do it. It really depends on traffic. There's a GT3 off in the runoff. Ooh. Corvette got a wiggle on there. Rain has stopped. And so probably no more rain for the rest of this race. Oh, a little bit wide through region ready on there. Peugeot's had an incident, dropping them back. They might lose P5. They might just about hold on to it. With that BMW blocking the inside there just wasn't going to be the space to pass the Mustang where I wanted to. With the rain having stopped, yeah, I'll probably still go 40 laps, meaning 3 laps to go when we cross the line here. We were quicker. 1 second we pulled on the Alpine last lap. That's great news. That's not necessarily to say we're quicker than the Alpine. I think the Alpine, I assume, is still quicker. It's just that they maybe had traffic or a little mistake on the last lap. That's just another second that they have to catch up to us, and 1 less lap to do it in. 3 laps to go. I think we're looking pretty safe. Rear tire's starting to slide a little bit through peel, and you could see the TC lights just flashing. We're actually faster than Mo last lap. And the Alpine by 7/10, but we're going to lose time here with the leading Corvette in GT3. Look at that, we lost over a second, I would say. Maybe about a second, actually. Next lap will be the final lap. As we make our way through this traffic, we've lost quite a bit of time. Maybe up to 2 seconds lost this lap, considering, you know, the track is getting quicker. You know, hopefully the Alpine also loses a bit of time. Not that it really matters with only a lap to go. I don't think they're going to catch 7 seconds in one lap while passing the GT3 traffic. Final lap then. I think we're going to get more traffic here in our Rouge and Radeon. Lexus and a Mustang. The Mustang that wanted us to meet at store. In Imola. We got through, not too much time lost there. Timed the lift pretty well. Billy finishes race setting a new fastest lap while he does. Third bus stop chicane. It's not been a clean race entirely. Little moment on the curb there. But it was certainly cleaner than Imola was. The mistakes weren't as catastrophic. And yeah. We finished in P3. Fun race. That was an enjoyable race. The strategy was certainly interesting. That rain disappearing about the 1 hour mark, and the track drying, leaving you thinking, oh, you know, maybe we can switch to slicks here soon and get it to the end of the race. And then, well, just after the Aston went, I think the Aston wouldn't have made it to the end, regardless if it started to rain again or not. I assume they put slick tires on because they're nowhere to be seen in the top 8. Yeah, and then the rain came back, and it's like, well, we got to stay out, you know, see what the rain does. I should put one last lap of fuel in. I should have went with 52. I felt like 52. I calculated it as a somewhat safe number. It's like an extra lap. And I was right, an extra lap. It was actually an extra 2 laps in the end. Well, no, it was an extra lap. And then seeing everyone else, I sort of went to 56. I should have trusted my own math a little bit more there. Especially since I could have fuel saved a little bit if I needed to. So yeah, I should have gone 52. That would have saved us 1 second. And if we caught the GT3s on that out lap a second earlier, you know, we would have had to have lifted through Blanchimont to not get held up by them. But we would have had them cleared well before the braking for the bus stop. And I don't think I would have made that mistake then. So I wouldn't have... just not, you know, having them right as I was getting to the braking zone, it made me, and also just, you know, me not lifting, you know, having the extra, you know, half a tank of fuel on board with the old tires and the ever-evolving track conditions. I didn't know exactly where I needed to brake for that corner. And yeah, I got that one wrong. Do I think it cost me a position? No, I think Mo would have caught me in the end. I think he made a mistake on the final lap or something, or took it really safe and lost like 5 seconds there. But, he had a lot of pace. Also, if he didn't lose the time fighting me originally, he would have been like an extra couple of seconds up the road. So, yeah, would have had more of a chance of second place for sure. Don't think I would have got it. Lead Bailey, I mean, his pace in the second, when his pace he got a lot of pace, got a lot of confidence, and yeah, he just went on. No one could match him. Fair play to him. Well done to him. He did really good. But yeah, fun race. I'm a little annoyed it wasn't completely clean, but it wasn't too bad. It's better than the first round. It was better than Imola. Podium, we'll take that. Might get a penalty for that Bailey collision. I wouldn't be surprised if do. Might get away with a warning if I'm lucky. But yeah, either way, still, bit annoyed. Anyway, that's going to do it for this stream. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with the ONID EU versus NA series. So we will. That'll be at 8 o'clock UK time, so sort of about 10 minutes after we started today. And then on Saturday, we're going to have our first classic sports car or vintage sports car race of the year, back on the original South Corsa, also with SROL here. We're heading to Fuji, classic Fuji, massive banked T1. That's quite fun. Yeah, we're back in the Nissan R382, the car that we did our first vintage sports car races in. So that should be good fun to revisit that car. It's quite fun. Looking forward to it. Yeah, it should be good. Yeah, that'll be on Saturday. Keep an eye for when I get that stream up. I have to get the thumbnail for that. Not in. I can't remember the exact start time. Actually, I should be able to quickly check here just before we go. We'll be starting maybe about 6 o'clock, maybe 6:30. So quite a bit earlier, over an hour earlier than what we had today. So yeah, bit of an earlier stream on Saturday, but yeah, should be good fun. We have a 68 lap race around there, so it should be about 2 hours, of racing. Should be good fun. But yeah, that's good. Thank you to those that came in and lurked for a bit. Hope you enjoyed the stream or watching the VOD back. Hope you enjoyed watching it back. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for our EU versus NA. We're heading to Monza, I should say, in the Cadillac Hypercar. Gonna be interesting. The big braking zones there. Hopefully can find some consistency in them. And then, of course, as said, vintage sports cars on a South Corsa at Fuji on Saturday. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. Have a good rest of your evening or afternoon. And if I don't see you tomorrow, have a good start to your weekend. Till next time, take care. Bye-bye.